Saul's last days. 1 Samuel 28 through 31. Looking at the huge Philistine army that had gathered against him, Saul trembled in fear. He sought advice from God, but God did not answer him. Saul found out there was a witch in Endor. So Saul disguised himself and went to see her. God had forbidden the practice of witchcraft, soothsayers, mediums, wizards, and their like. So when Saul sought out the witch, he was deliberately sinning. Saul asked the witch to call up Samuel from the dead. The woman called Samuel, and he came forth, scaring her silly because this had never happened before. Witches cannot really do anything they claim to do. When she saw Samuel, she realized Saul had deceived her. Samuel said to Saul, "Why do you bother me?" Saul said, "The Philistines are warring against me, and God has left me, so I called you to find out what to do." Samuel said, "Why send for me when God has left you? Because you did not obey his voice, he has given your kingdom to David. Tomorrow you and your sons will die, and the Israelites will lose the battle to the Philistines." Saul was terrified and fell to the ground and had no strength. Meanwhile, David and his men returned to their homes in Ziklag. They found the city burned and their wives and families captured by a raiding group of Amalekites. David took 600 of his men and pursued them. He had to leave 200 men behind at the brook Besor because they were too exhausted to cross it. As he chased after the Amalekites, David found a sick Egyptian servant who the Amalekites had left behind without food or water. David gave him water and food, and he regained his strength. The servant led them to the Amalekite camp, where a victory celebration was taking place. David and his men fought and won, and rescued all their wives and children, and everything else that had been stolen from their homes. When they went back, they came to the brook where the 200 waited with the baggage. Some of the wicked and selfish with David said, "Because these did not go with us, we will give them none of the spoils, except for their wives and children." David said, "Not so. We share alike, those who go to battle and those who stay behind with the baggage. Besides, God has given these treasures to us, and God has kept us alive, and God gave us victory over our enemies." As David passed through Judah, he sent spoils of war to all the cities in Judah that had given him aid and told them, "Behold, a gift for you from the spoils of the enemies of God." The next day, the Philistines fought against Israel. They killed Jonathan and Saul's other sons. Saul could see that the battle was lost, and the archers were coming near. He was already badly wounded by arrows, so he fell upon his sword, killing himself. The Israelites fled from their cities, and the Philistines moved in. Saul and his sons were buried by the men of Jabesh Gilead. Saul was 30 years old when he became king, and he reigned over Israel about 40 years.